And that's actually a wonderful entry into some very profound teachings about life. Because very often this is what happens. We think, okay, if I change my job, then I won't have suffering anymore. And it's true. If you change your job, you don't have that particular type of suffering. You have another type of suffering. Sometimes people are high flyers, and they've got the suffering of a high-pressure job. They decide to give that up and become a bus driver. They don't have CEO suffering anymore. They have bus driver suffering, or teacher suffering. Sometimes we think we get some more money. I know Mr. Carpenter will love me for saying this. We get some more money, then we won't have any suffering anymore. But a lot of times, when we try and change the externals, we still have suffering. There are many people have had it with having a husband, having a wife. They've had it sort of working in this world. They get so dispirited and so disillusioned, with money and with getting houses and getting on in life. They decide to become a monk. I have to tell them, look, when you become a monk, you sure you don't have going to work on a Monday morning suffering. You have monk suffering. And I remember this very clearly as a young monk. I had what we call young monk suffering when I was a junior monk. Because in Thailand, as a junior monk, we used to get the leftovers of the food. And sometimes I looked at those senior monks at the top of the line, and they had the best food because they had the first choice and I got what was left over. And I thought, this is really unfair. Because those monks have been monks 10, 20, 30 years. They probably were all enlightened by now and they didn't need nice, delicious food. I still had my defilements. So delicious food was wasting on those enlightened ones. Should come to me instead. And when I started thinking like this, they had all the biggest cushions to sit on. And they never needed cushions. They were so fat they had natural upholstery. They should have put the good cushions to me. And that we had to work hard, labouring, as when I was a monk, as a young monk. And those senior monks, they never had to labour. They were the ones who decided what all the projects would do. They organised us, but they never did any work at all. They just sat there talking with people all day. It was really unfair. So I thought, wouldn't it be nice when I'm a senior monk? Now look at me. I've got my natural upholstery. I get first choice of the food. And I don't have to work in monastery anymore. Instead I have to talk to all these sisters complaining about their husbands and their wives. So I've got what's now called abbot suffering. Senior monk suffering.